Hey guys, I'm Lazy Guy DIY, and if you have any cut-offs sitting around, you have any scrap wood, you can very easily make these scrap wood live edge charcuterie boards. They're perfect for gifts, so if you're looking for something for the holidays or just a special occasion, they're easy to make. Take a look.
The first thing you have to do is find yourself a good piece of live edge wood. I had a bunch of cutoffs that were walnut, cherry, and maple. But what you want to do is not pay for these. These are waste scrap pieces that people are going to throw away. So what you need to do is find one, say about 12 inches long at least, and at least 6 inches wide. I'm going to cut this one in half, but it looks like the right one to use. So the winner here is a slab of cherry that's just been sitting in my basement from an old project from a couple years ago. I'm just going to find the middle, and I'm going to make my charcuterie boards about 25 inches long and about 6 inches wide. So I'm going to put it on the table saw, rip it right down the middle, and then I really don't have to worry about it being too accurate, because these are going to be rough cut. They're going to look pretty good, and they don't need to be perfectly square. So with my boards cut roughly to size and shape, what I need to take care of now is that bark on the side. You can't leave bark on live edge pieces because it's just going to dry and fall off here, especially with something that you're using for food. So I'm just using a hatchet. I'm scraping it off. You can use a chisel, you can use a sander, screwdriver, whatever. Just take it right off because it's going to fall off. To save myself some time for sanding, I ran this through my thickness planer a couple times. It really brings out that cherry green, and it will give me the most level surface. If you don't have a thickness planer, that's okay. Just sand and sand some more. To add a little extra character, I pulled out my miter saw and I did a square cut on one end and an angle cut on the other, just to give it kind of a geometric shape. Also, for a little flair, I decided to put some thumb holes in here so it's easier to carry. All I used was a spade bit and an impact driver. It bored right through and it was easy to sand out. In order to give the board a nice finished look, I decided to put in a round over bit in my router, tighten it up here, slap on the collet, and I add some double-sided tape on the bottom. You can clamp it down as well, but this gives me an easier way to make one pass all the way around. But I take my router, I route it the inside of the thumb hole, and I routed all the edges, including the live edge, and that really breaks the edge, makes it a little easier to handle. But if you don't have a router, you can always just use your random orbit sander and you can get the same effect. Maybe not quite as even, but it'll still work just as well. After you route both sides, it's time to start sanding. I run through my grit progressions to about 400 grit. I also like to use these sanding sponges from Gator Finishing because they're great to get in tough spaces. But once you get a glass smooth surface, you're ready to take out a tack cloth, clean it up, and start adding your finish. For my first coat for finish of these charcuterie boards, I'm going to add walrus oil, cutting board oil. I'm going to have links in my notes for this, but a little bit goes a long way. You just splash a little on, rub it in, and then wipe off the excess. Once this dries, I'm also going to use their cutting board wax. It's a great protective coat that you can reapply, but you just buff it right in and then buff out the excess. It holds up great, and this is a great gift.
Hey guys, it's a pretty easy build, so once you check it out, I'd love it if you subscribe to the channel right here and check out this video over here. And if you like what you see, head on over to lazyguydiy.com. I'd love to have you follow.